I don't know.
Oh, see, I just saw everybody look at each other going,
You're a rebel. All righty, it's 5 o'clock. So in compliance, good afternoon, good evening. In compliance with the Open Meetings Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, I call this meeting of the Manor Independent School District to order on.
December 15th at 5 p.m.
Let the record show that a quorum is present. This meeting has been duly called and notices of this meeting have been posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Now we'll go into closed session. The board will now adjourn into executive session at
5:01 p.m.
pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.129. We'll go into closed. There's Armani's misbehaving here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the last board meeting of the year. Woo! All right. All right. The board now will reconvene in open session at
6:19 PM.
amazing. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight are fifth graders Yaretzi Hernandez and Ian Martinez from Decker Elementary. Woo!
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Honor.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Way to go. All right. Now I will have one of our trustees read the vision statement.
I'll read the vision.
Yes.
St. Air
trustee.
ISD is the best district in Texas, where we provide an equitable education for all scholars and graduate them ready to become leaders in our community.
Oh my God, she memorized by memory. Memorized. Way to go. Thank you. LSG. Okay. Mission. Who would like to do the mission statement?
The mission. Collectively as a community, Manor ISD provides equitable resources, a safe learning environment, and high-quality educational services for all scholars to successfully achieve and reach their full potential.
Thank you
I did
very
not.
much. We'll move on to 6.1, December Scholar Recognition.
It is not October, but it is December, and this is our last scholar recognition for the year. So Team of 8, I'm proud to come and bring our latest scholar recognition up. But first, our District Goal 3, which is by 2028, 90% of Manor ISD scholars will graduate prepared for college, career, trade, and/or military services based upon their individual goals. And tonight, we are proud to recognize Manor High School senior Michelle Garcia, who earned first place in the Houston Tilson University writing competition for her piece titled Seclusion. She beat out hundreds of other submissions from across the state, and she receives $1,000 for her win. Closing out our scholar recognition, we go to just as amazing staff recognitions, which are submitted by their campuses each and every month for just being amazing. So let's get started. So staff of the month, if you're here, when your name is called, if you'll just walk up to the left and you'll shake the hands of our trustees, but don't go anywhere, just stand by here. Once we wrap up, you'll take a group photo and then you'll head out there for your individual photos. From Blake Manor Elementary School, Edith Nava, first grade teacher, and Annabelle Zuniga, food and nutrition. From Bluebonnet Trail Elementary, Florian Flores, special education teacher, and Bridget Bolden, registrar. From the Child Development Center, Jocelyn Cesar, pre-K teacher. From Decker Elementary School, Myra Dimas, third grade dual language teacher, and Claudia Escalante, ESC, thank you so much, aide. Yeah. From Oak Meadows Elementary School, Billy Mercer, coach, and Joanna Ariano, teacher aide. From Pioneer Crossing Elementary School, Casey Alvarado, life skills teacher, and Belinda Singleton, interventionist. From Lagos Elementary School, Christy Hardy, fifth grade ELA, and Ernesta Steele, parent liaison. From Presidential Meadows Elementary School, Helen LePay, third grade teacher, and Marla Mieja, pre-K aide. From Shadow Glen Elementary School, Marcus Romero, fifth grade dual language teacher, and Anna Padilla, registrar. From Manor Rise Academy, Lee Jackson, coach, and Jaleesa Clark, instructional coach. From Decker Middle School, Ryan Case, librarian, and Ian Singleton, administrative assistant. From Manor New Tech Middle School, Alexis Keene, sixth grade, and Diana Gonzalez, ATT associate. And from Manor New Tech High School, Rodolfo Diaz, paraprofessional, and Brittany Mickelson, social studies teacher. And that concludes our recognitions, but let's get you guys in the middle for a photo.
All right, now we're going to go to the public forum of the meeting. Mr. Martinez, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
We do not.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to closed session. Action items, 8.1, consideration and approval of Educator Chapter 21 contract abandonment. Destiny Clark, do I have a motion for 8.1?
Madam President, I move that the board make a finding that there is not good cause to support Destiny Clark's resignation from their position of Manor ISD.
I have a motion by trustee Patterson. Do I have a second?
I will second.
I have a second by Mr. Martinez and trustee Rodriguez Barnett. All those, if there's no discussion, all those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. We'll move on to item 8.2, consideration approval for hire director on special assignment, target school improvement. Do I have a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, trustee Rodriguez Barnett.
I move that the board approve the hire of Jolyn Ibarra as the Director of Special Assignment, Target School Improvement.
I have a motion by trustee Rodriguez Barnett. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by trustee Lowry. All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. We'll move on to item 8.3.
Madam President, if I may,
Oh my God, it's a special hire. So sorry.
I
Yes.
did notice she is in the crowd, and she doesn't want to miss a chance to wave to all her adoring fans.
Welcome. Welcome to Manor ISD. Thank you. All right, sorry. We'll move on to 8.3, consideration and approval for hire. Director of Multilingual Services, do you have a motion?
Madam President, I move that the board approve the hire of Denora De La Torre as Director of Multilingual Services.
I have a motion by trustee Howard. Do I have a second? I have a second by trustee Rodriguez Barnett. No, if there's no discussion, I will entertain a motion. All those in favor? Are you in favor? Yeah, okay. Yay! Motion passes 7-0, and welcome. Is she here?
Yes, I believe she is
De La
out there in
Torre?
the back. She's already making friends with Miss Ibarra. There she is.
Bienvenida. Muchas gracias. Whew. All right, we're moving on to superintendent update, 9.1, student safety update.
As trustees, just our monthly update, and as I was updating boards, the next generation weapons detection system is due to be in the district, and we will begin installing those in January at the high school level. Mostly, the students will notice just something looks different, and we will begin, if worked as advertised, we will change our procedures, but of course, we won't talk about that out loud. So just know, if you're out there, it's new and improved. and we'll catch more stuff. I also want to let people know that long ago we promised we will begin to look, now that we have the new generation, whether to place them at the middle school, and we'll be working with middle school principals on that. We do have some points of pride that I want to bring up, and this first one actually is in line with our goals. You heard we had the first place winner, but that's not all we had. We had quite a few students. 83% of all the statewide submissions for the Houston Tillotson writing competition actually came from Manor ISD, so I think that's a celebration itself. And of course, you can see some of we had not just the first place winner, but a number of students who were honorable mentions with their pieces. And so really nice that they're working on their writing skills while getting some recognition at the same time. We also have some Manor High School choir persons. This is actually the third straight year Isaiah has been on our display here. He is moving on to area auditions and will be going for the All-State Choir. And of course, we also had Zion, who is the first alternate. And so claps to our choir at Manor High School. And now we have some new tech kids to join them too. Region 26 All-Region Choir. You see our students who made it there as well, so give some claps to them.
Dr. Sermani. Dr. Sermani.
Yes, sir.
So the board was present. I attended the choir concert for Manor and Manor New Tech this weekend. They were phenomenal. There is coming in January also a play. They performed one song there. So if Cynthia can connect with Mr. Segura, that'd be great to get us on their calendar to be able to hear them live. It was amazing.
Awesome.
So congratulations to all of those students.
Yeah, if you've not heard our choir sing, you are missing out. We also had a record-breaking results from the New Tech Gladiator Regiment All-Region Band. 63 scholars, that was by far the most of any school in our entire region who placed students. And so that band is growing by leaps and bounds, and not just in numbers, but in quality as well. So big claps to our New Tech band. And I should point out, this is the middle school band. So all these kids are about to start rolling up to high school, and you'll be looking at some marching awards up there, I think, in our future. And then, of course, we have our Titan Regiment High School Band. So to give you some idea of what's already there, you see the region spots and those students that participate in region and placed in band as well. So good things in band across the street from us. So. By the way, the region marching competition is usually held in Giddings, so it's not too far for us to drive and looking for a chance to see them win next year. Or is it in 2 years? I can't remember. I always forget. So I'll have to ask Mr. Segura. Okay, up to the monthly financial
Real quick,
report.
can I add a pride moment? This weekend, Blake Manor robotics coach Jenny Long hosted a mini competition with another school, and it was a great turnout, and they had great practice, and I was in attendance. It was fabulous.
Great kids. Amazing stuff. Thank you.
I didn't see you. I was there that morning too.
I was there towards the end. I showed up at like 10:30.
We split it up on purpose.
Representation everywhere.
As I told my staff that morning, Manor ISD's domination of world robotics has begun. So,
Love it.
all right, Mr. Santiago.
10.1, financial monthly report.
Good evening, Team of 8.
Thank
This
you.
is, you want me to present the financials, go into details, or just a quick summary? Or if you all have any questions on the financials?
Does anybody have any questions? Did you want him to highlight anything specific?
Not on the monthly financial report, but on our next one, 10.2, he would have some
But
to present.
before we move on, is there any questions? No. Okay. 10.2, sir.
Okay, so this year we had a new firm conducting our audit financials, Padillo, Brown and Hill, auditors represented tonight by Ms. Paula Lowe.
What company was it?
Padillo, Brown and Hill.
Okay. Thank you.
Before I go into the financials, I want to acknowledge all the work of my staff that were involved in this. Ms. Quinn Cleveland, who was not able to be present tonight, she worked long hours with our auditors to try to get this audit completed, which was started back in spring, and we just finalized it last week. So we were trying to not rush, but finalizing some of the last things just to get this approved tonight. The audit is received an unmodified opinion, which is the highest credit or the highest rating that a school district can receive. It is qualified as a low-risk auditee for federal funding purposes. There were no findings or material weaknesses being reported or identified in our district's internal controls or business operating processes. The district's overall net position is $37.9 million, which is a decrease of $6 million over the previous year. We did expect this, and in the general fund, the unassigned fund balance actually ended up at $12.3 million, which is a little bit more than what I anticipated back in April, where I projected more or less like half a month of operations, but we actually ended up with about 1.3 months of operations. So the general fund balance is, as of June 30th, 2015, $12.3 million, which is a decrease of $17.5 million over the previous year. This calculates a CPM of 10.4, which is equivalent to about 1.3 months of operations or 38 days reserves. In order for us to maintain or to have sufficient cash to operate over the summer months, we must have at least a minimum of 3.4 months of operating reserves. Now that the state payments and everything is now becoming more frequent and are more on schedule. Any questions on that slide? Auditors here also too, if y'all have any questions on the audit report. Okay. Thank you all so much. You're more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the, or if you need to drive.
Or if you would like to add anything else, that would be great. We don't have any questions, but we really appreciate that.
You can.
We really appreciate it. Working with the team that you have here, they were very helpful, answered our questions, and we really enjoyed working with them. So, as he mentioned as well, is a clean opinion, and so talked about fund balance too. But again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to work with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Santiago.
Thank you. Will you continue? Okay. So just an update on Constraint Progress Measure 2, which states allow the district to be fiscally sound. CPM 2.2 states that the unassigned general fund balance will not decrease below 16.4 or 60 days between the periods of year 2023 and June 2026. The projected CPM by the end of 2026 is anticipated to be 15.8 or 58 days. Our 2-year target is 27.9 or 102 days. As you can see on the graph right there, that low point right there in 24-25, that's the lowest that we will achieve 10.4, but we are headed upwards. We do have a pretty good plan to be able to achieve our goal, our 2-year target, considering several things that I'm going to go into detail further. But that's our target for 27-28 to be at 27.9.
So by next year, we're going to be at 58 days, but in 2 years, we should be at it's like double. Yeah, 102 days.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pretty aggressive, but we're going to have to stick with the plan.
We believe in you.
Believe in all of us.
Well, and you meaning all you. You is, yes. Thank you. I was just, yeah, I had to ask the question.
So these are the details on the graph. The projected end of year unassigned fund balance is projected at 16.5 million. The 2-year unassigned fund balance target is 29.7 million by the end of June 2028, assuming the expense budget remains unchanged for the 26-27 school year. One thing you have to keep in mind that when we adopt balanced budget, we do not affect the unassigned fund balance. We do not increase it or decrease it. It stays level. So we have to move forward with adopting surplus budgets or end the year with a surplus. Any questions on that graph? Here's the graph that you all have seen previously. I try to keep it up to date every month. And the thing that's different now is that the green line, which is your fund balance, it's now in line with the actual activity through every month as we move throughout the years. So we are currently right by the green arrow in October, right at the end of November. So our revenue has started to flow in already. The appraisal district is depositing on a daily basis. And so the revenue right there is identified by the blue bars. So you can see where are our peak months, December, January, early February. The red bar is the expenses. They remain level throughout the year, and you can see the activity or the impact of the fund balance by the green line. By the end of this year, since the revenue has already started to flow in, we still have untapped loan proceeds of about 14 million. We are still going to be able to pay this note off as we anticipated, hopefully by the spring. And by the time we adopt the budget for next year, I'm going to have to come back again and ask for another loan, but not as big as the previous one. So right now I'm looking at about 7 million. If by the end of this year, our CPM falls more or less at about 15.8.
So when again were you thinking it's going to be in the spring of next year for the loan or the summer? This
Yes.
coming spring. Okay, do you anticipate, when do we get the new ratings? I'm just trying to think of like the loan amount and the projection of possibly financial ratings changing. So that's my question. When we go out for that loan that we need, it's a lot less. Is that going to, how will it impact our interest with our financial rating? Do you know where I'm trying to?
Okay. So it depends if you're referring to the first rating or you're talking about the bond.
No. The loan rating, just to get that $7 million.
Yeah, I think she's talking about from the rating agencies.
The rating agency. So the financiers look at the most recent rating, which is the one, the S&P that was just assigned.
Okay, so that should not impact too much. The rating should be the same. It won't change till later.
Yes.
So by hopefully next year or the fall, we won't need any more loans because we'll be getting back on track.
If we stick to the long-term plan, yes.
Okay.
That's our goal.
Our target is June 2028. We will have enough cash on hand that we will no longer need to do loans. And so that's that target date that we've mentioned.
In order for us to achieve that, I made a note right there. We are going to need some asset sales. So it is critical for this ones to occur between 26 and 28, anytime between this period, in order for us to be able to get up there to the 100 plus days in operating reserves.
So that's part of the plan, the assets. Yep.
Any questions on this slide? So in order to achieve that, we do have a long-term plan. Long-term meaning 2 years, because we know that every 2 years is legislative year, so anything can happen on that year. Our goal, again, 2-year target, 27.9 percent, 3 months of operating reserves, and with the intention with the goal of increasing the general fund balance to an estimated 30 million by the end of June 2028. How will we achieve this? Okay, so we have to be as conservative as possible, but not to the point where it restricts us from implementing a very tight budget. We do want to be conservative, but not as much, so that our projections are realistic.
And Mr. Santiago, I'd like to just stop there and let the trustees read this and see if they have any questions, because I want to spend the majority of our time on the next slides, which are related to the instructional items.
Do you have any questions on this?
I do. Can you explain publicly on that third bullet point, the one-time payments related to the Travis County Appraisal District Austin Executive Airport audit?
Right. So there's an action item tonight for you all to approve a reimbursement agreement with the appraisal district. The appraisal district is conducting an audit on the Austin Executive Airport on all of their aircraft that are not included in the tax rolls that have been avoiding paying taxes, basically. So these payments that we anticipate receiving as a result of this audit are not included in these projections. That would be brand new stream of revenues when we receive those funds.
Will that audit cover multiple years?
Yes. I think it's 21, 23 right now. But yes, it will cover multiple years, but the contract is only until June 2026. From there, depends how much time they take in litigation, appeals. So it could be up to 2 or 3 years that we are not going to see any revenues or any billing too.
Bullet number 4, personnel not being greater than 82%. Typically, what has been our personnel percentage?
It's been a lot.
And then what is it currently right now?
Yes.
Okay, so I knew you were going to ask that question. Last year, when our budget was almost 124 million, the personnel budget was more than 85%. Currently, 79%. So yes, we cut significantly in personnel costs.
I want
This
to mention, just because I'm the one who changed his 79% to 82%. So the reason I did so is because we recognize that we believe that there are some areas on campuses where we want to add personnel. And so I didn't want to limit us to 79% and then find out we needed more. I think most districts are around the low 80s, 82% is about right.
And I was going to ask.
We may adjust that number in the future once we feel like we've balanced the budget in the right way. And so what you'll see on the next slides after this one is when we're talking about reallocating money towards instruction, that could be personnel. So hence why it's not 79% and it's 82%.
And so just to tag along that, just today I received information from other cohort school districts that are similar to us with good district ratings and from Channelview. And so their budget is actually 82%.
Channelview ISD?
Yes, Channelview ISD. And their budget is actually, personnel budget is 82% of the total operating budget. So pretty much in line with what we are trying to achieve here. Any other questions?
I do.
Other bullets?
I was going to ask, what are the anticipated benefits of auditing the PEAM student data?
The benefits of that is that we are going to reset our numbers. There are areas where we need improvement. We have identified some areas that need corrections. Some of the staff in those areas need staff development. We are trying to find those areas so that we can target and put more resources. And by this, we are going to be able to increase and improve our PIMS numbers, and our funding will also increase. So that's the intention, to reset ourselves with establishing a base year moving forward too.
I have two questions. The next one is, what is the reasoning behind our budget being 3% above cohort districts? Is it because of aging facilities, or what's the reasoning behind that?
A lot of it is driven by cost. So yes, we do have aging facilities.
Okay.
Yes, and maybe Mr. Mendes can speak to that, but yes, there is a lot of cost.
And I can speak to it because I actually know which cohort of districts. We generally have more buildings than other districts per capita. So if you compare our size of roughly 10,000 students and you look at other 10,000 student districts, they have less schools. And so schools, each building requires more maintenance and operation than you would otherwise. So that is, my belief is the large part of that 3% over other people.
And then my last question is, what do you mean by reinforce? I mean, I love this, like, it's tighter systems and everything, but the procurement procedures for purchasing, what have you found, and why is the recommendation, or, to reinforce it? How can we get better?
The intention behind this is that so that we, from the campuses, department level, district level,
I get it.
we enforce our own operating procedures.
Okay.
I think just to give an example, one of the things we discovered at the end of May, or we got bills from ACC where people were creating classes that we didn't even know existed, but we got the bill for them. And so some of these procedures we're talking about are real simple. Who can speak on behalf of the district? And ACC is great. I had a long conversation with their vice provost, so we're all good. So there's only two people who can sign that, and that would be him and myself, Mr. Santiago and myself. And I don't mean to call them out, but I just think it's examples like that that really illustrate where we were and where we are as far as controlling our costs now.
And that makes sense, and it goes, and I guess it goes in line to what I've asked in the past, like no multi-year contracts. So I'm assuming, all the other.
Unless funding is.
Yes. Because we were, I believe, when we started, like, really looking at every software or every renewal that we had, we just kept on, I guess, it was just kept on being renewed, and we didn't even know if it was being effective, if it was being fully utilized. So, thank you. That's great.
Yes, and that's where the reinforcement of the procurement process comes in.
Perfect.
Any other? You want to take on this slide?
And I'll take over for this part, and you and staff can answer questions as needed. But one of the things we want to do, as I've mentioned before, may have balanced the budget, but we may not have balanced it in the way we want to, that is most supportive of our district goals, and so we're constantly adjusting the budget. So the reason the difference is Mr. Santiago laid out the plan to put money back in the fund balance. The next things you're going to see is about shifting money towards compensation and classroom instruction. So this isn't about putting money back in the fund balance. This is about reallocating funds in different ways. And right now, we're looking at 4 different things, as you can see there. And I'll talk about a couple of these a little bit more in depth in some future slides. But let me just start. Well, all of them are there. I think the only one that I don't have future slides on now is actually the last one, which, of course, if we pass a future bond election, we can save a lot of money on maintenance costs, which we can shift towards personnel and compensation. So I can't get away from that. That's a real thing. But I want to take each of these that I've listed out here separately and talk just briefly about each one so that people know what we're speaking which here. I have talked openly about potentially collapsing dual language programs to both increase instructional efficacy by eliminating some of the vacancies. But one of the things that my staff pointed out to me is actually, we can actually, by focusing on the emergent bilinguals we have and maximizing more of those students in the dual language program, the way the funding system works at the education agency, we could actually increase revenue by not collapsing any of our bilingual programs. And so I've got some numbers up there that give you some idea, but here's the basic idea. We have some 476 emergent bilinguals who are currently not in a dual language program. Now, not all of them speak Spanish. Our dual language programs are Spanish-based. But many of those students do speak Spanish, it turns out, and are not an emergent bilingual, and so we lose funding for that. And the dual language program is a superior model to what those students are getting as far as language acquisitions. So one of the low-hanging fruits that we identified is, rather than closing programs, we could be moving more kids into those programs. Another low-hanging fruit is last year we had, it was more than 55 students, but only 55 non-native Spanish speakers in dual language programs. You know, dual language programs should be a highlight of the elementary school campus, and it is an opportunity to build bilingual students. Every single one of those English native speakers who goes into a dual language program, once again, creates weighted funding for those students to increase the revenue. So again, it kind of speaks to, instead of collapsing bilingual programs, we should be highlighting them and really working with parents and families. So what I really like about this plan is we're really talking about increasing the instructional efficacy and helping student achievement, and it's going to get us more revenue. And I'm just going to throw out one more even crazier idea out there, and I know Kendra's going to start going, what's he talking about? I saw you taking pictures, going like, what did you just put up there? But you know, we really began to think about, okay, we have a lot of languages in Manor ISD. I put Pashto up there as just an example. That's a language spoken in Afghanistan, for example. And we do have some of our students from Afghanistan who speak fairly good English. I was talking to a student the other day who was trying to teach me some Pashto. It didn't work very well, because don't ask me to say a word, I can't remember. But we do have a number of students who don't speak any English, and they speak Pashto. But one of the ideas becomes, now that we've engaged with a company like Papaya, we're realizing, well, what if we created Pashto dual language, one section on a campus where virtually they have a Pashto teacher, but in person they have the English teacher. All those students who are sitting in there who are not getting weighted funding from the state could potentially now bring in new revenue that pays for the Pashto instructor online. So we have a whole revenue stream just by maximizing our instructional practices.
I have a question. So is Pashto a recognized language by the state to get weighted funding?
If they are in a dual language program, I understand.
Any
yes.
any language, any dual language.
If we set up a dual language, of course I'll double check that to make sure, but I believe any dual language program gets it to you. One other thing that we talked about doing, and this is not for all languages, and I'm not an expert in this realm, but there are some students who do not speak Spanish or English who could benefit from being in a dual language Spanish-English because of the way the brain works and acquires language. Now, that's not true of every language out there. The Romance languages are probably the example that's best for them, but there are some other opportunities for getting weighted funding through this. Now, I want to be clear that we still may make a recommendation to close one or two very small dual language programs that may not be viable moving forward as far as the efficiency of the district. But this is our first instinct is going to be to improve the instruction of our dual language learners we currently have, and that may end up paying for itself.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we not only focus on instruction, but outcomes, academic outcomes. So to make sure that whatever we're doing, that we're making sure the kids can utilize academic language in order to pass standardized instruments, that sort of thing.
And trustees took a big step tonight by naming a new multilingual director who is going to help us, Dr. Doyle, to revamp our dual language and revitalize it. I can't get away from revenue, but this isn't just about revenue. This is about having a program that is best practice and research-based for students to learn, not just in a foreign language, but also English. It is the best practice for students who are not native English speakers to learn English as well.
Do we also have a plan to get more dual language teachers into our classrooms? I know that's an area that we have some vacancies in, or we have teachers that aren't fully
That's correct.
certified in those areas.
We have currently 8 teachers, last I checked, that were either not fully certified or we have a vacancy in the dual language program. So it is always going to be a challenge in this area to get bilingual teachers. One of the things that Dr. Williams-Hill engages in is our partnership with Texas State and residence programs, and we're always trying to grab the bilingual teachers when we can. We also need to talk about transportation. Another place where we can get almost $250,000 a year is in redoing the transportation system. This is one that will be a little bit more painful for the community. But in a moment, you're going to see what Mr. Mendez and his team are going to do to make sure the air conditionings are still running and to make sure we have the technology devices. And so we don't have bond money to do that, so we are going to have to free up money in other ways to be able to provide compensation and increase personnel. So this is another way that we are exploring. The short of this is Manor Rise Academy is a district-wide, draws students district-wide, but it runs on what you call a hub system. The buses don't drive through every single street in every single neighborhood. They pick up at certain points and then they go to MRA. We have been running a full system for New Tech Middle School and New Tech High School, meaning they're traveling down every single street, almost in the entire district. And that is a very expensive model to run. So we essentially have, if you drive down a street sometimes, I can see a Manor High School bus and a Manor New Tech High School bus trailing each other because they're literally going across the entire district. So one simple way is to create a hub system, which you can see can reduce up to 22 routes by creating a hub system. And if you can imagine, and I'm just going to give, this isn't the plan, but I'm just going to give you a simple example. A simple hub system is we run a bus from every single elementary school to Manor New Tech. So that is the simplest form of a hub system. So parents would need their students to get to the elementary school to be able to catch the bus. I should point out that Bobby Garcia, I didn't know this, but apparently there was a hub system in place in Manor for New Tech and as late as 2021. It predates Mr. Mendez and I, but this is not a new thing for Manor ISD for the New Tech system. I'm not sure what the logic was or the reasoning for changing to a non-hub system, but I think $250,000 a year is worth us considering. I also, a couple of things I pointed out there, just because I want to make sure that people are aware. If we created an attendance zone for the New Tech system, that would save us the most money for transportation systems. I'm not recommending this at this point, but I think that is something on the horizon that we need to start looking at. We've got a lot of kids that are already signed up for New Tech, and I don't want to in any way push them out. But I think in the future, if we're really looking at efficiencies down the road, we can give people a heads up that boundaries are coming, and so they can be prepared for that. But that is your most efficient way that your transportation system could work. So that's something just for the future. And then I left one idea that was brought to me actually just hours ago about changing the high school bus stops. So we moved this year to 0.5 miles between bus stops for the high school level. The actual state standard is 1 mile. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily what we want to go to, but even if we go to a 0.75 miles between stops at the high school routes, that could save significant money as well. So I'm gonna stop there for a moment, but I did want to let you all know that we're doing this. Our next step is really going to be drafting out what this might look like to get some feedback from community members.
We can touch more on our one-on-one, but I think that some of the changes that Fernanda and team have made, even in the past year, speaking as a parent with kiddos at the Maynard New Tech Middle and High School, some of those changes, I mean, it seems pretty simple to kind of make those alignments because knowing the kiddos, like even in our district or our area of the district specifically, like the elementary school is right there. Like we're talking just a couple blocks and we had already made a quarter-mile adjustment. So I think that anything that the team can do to bring that forward for discussion, I think the community definitely would be open to hearing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that as we are planning for these changes, that there are multiple opportunities throughout the district for the different communities to provide feedback and input and get the information. Because what I don't want is for people to say, well, where'd this come from? So, and we're going to always get a few of that, but from our end, let's control what we can and have as many outreach information sessions as possible as we planning this stuff.
Yeah, I do agree because these decisions are going to be really tough too, and our community will need a lot of upfront, education and we need to hear, they need to hear why we're doing what we need to do and understand what's going on. But upfront and as much time ahead that we can give the information, that would be great. And make sure that they understand and that we hear them as well. Because, yeah, I could see the challenges. But yeah, this is needed. Thank you.
Then finally, we are going to be moving on just in a moment to the funding for the HVAC and technology devices. But one thing that's embedded in here that is actually for instruction as well, we are going to be talking about changes to how we want to do property insurance. And so for those of you out there, if you own a home and you looked at your property rates, it's hitting us too. And so we're looking for some unique ways that we can free up money in property insurance. I think we're spending $2.8 million a year just on property insurance. And so we are going to be potentially looking for a company to work with us, whether it's our current company or another company. But we have some ideas, and we're going to want to ask companies, can you help us figure out how to self-insure in a way that is responsible and ensures that our facilities are going to be safe? And which facilities do we not need to be insuring because we're not going to get much back from you even if something happens? And we do have some aging facilities that we may not want to. We're also, I think Mr. Mendez may talk a little bit about this, but we're also talking about setting aside certain amounts of funds that will be part of our insurance, self-insured, we'll call it. And so for the community and for everybody, I always describe it like this, is when you have a 20-year-old car that's a little bit beat up, not a little bit beat up, it's quite a bit beat up, you usually don't pay for collision insurance on it anymore.
Full coverage.
But you do put a little bit money away in the bank to make sure you can buy a brand new car or another used car if it totally goes kaput on you. We're talking about doing the same thing with roofs or some of our older portable buildings, setting aside some money from the old 2019 bond money to be able to replace it if something happens to it and we need to replace. Now, it's not going to cover everything, but it's going to cover some things. But what's more important is that will allow us to reduce our insurance payment costs, and that money goes to instruction in classrooms and compensation, and that's the important piece. So I'm going to turn it over, Madam President, if it's okay with you, I'm turn it over to Mr. Mendez, and his team is ready to answer questions. I know Armando and David are excited and ready to go. That was my cue to wake you all up.
Thank you. Good evening, Team of 8. So I'd like to provide you an update on the progress of our 2019 bond fund optimization plan that we had back in February. As you may recall, back in February, we shared a list of property or priority projects that could be funded through earned interest on the 2019 bond fund. Since then, we've continued advancing bond projects, but we've also encountered some pressing facility and technology needs, including weathered facilities that we have. Tonight, I want to outline some refined approaches and how we plan to allocate some 2019 bond interest earnings to address the mission-critical priorities that we have. So, first of all, I'd like to introduce David Gonzalez. He's our Director of Technology for the public out there. And also, Mr. Tenico, which is also our Director of Facilities, Armando Tenico, which is our Director of Facilities out there. And also, third of all, it's going to be Moises Santiago, our CFO. He'll be talking a little bit about if y'all have questions on the insurance side of things. So to start off with, we've identified $4.1 million in earned interest from 2019 bonds that is available funding as of now. So it's back to February when we were looking at how to optimize some of the funding that we had with interest money that we had. We came up with some projects and we prioritized them. We've already gone through some of them, and on some of them we've paused. And so that I want to bring some attention on how we got that $4.1 million. So,
Excuse me. So is the 4.1 million, is that the last of the bond dollars to be utilized?
Yes, sir. That's some of the money. There's a little bit more than that there, but we already have some projects that are outgoing that we still need to put aside. So, for example, weapon detection systems, we haven't paid anything yet because we haven't gotten the new models yet. But when we
So
do
this
them,
is
we'll
4.1 of available?
available for right now. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Not encumbered or anything like that. So with that, there was an opportunity back then, as you might recall, we had a roofing project that we needed at Blake Manor. And so we had set aside $3.6 million to replace that roof. That roof material that's out there, the original roof materials, bitumen, I think that's the way you say it, right? Material, well, that lasts about 50 to 60 years. Or our building might not last 50 or 60 years. So it doesn't make sense to put a 50 or 60-year roof on there and spend $3.6 million doing it. So Armando actually went out there with his team, and we found another material that we actually got 20-plus years insurance on it for about $750,000. So that means that just because of that, we were able to save $2.8 million right off the bat. Just because, so way to go, Armando. Thank you so much.
Way to
for that.
go.
Well done.
Yeah. So we were able to do that. At the same time, we also have some other projects that we were cleaning up. We're going to have an amphitheater for the New Tech High School, as well as a shot put and some discus space out there. So as you might recall, we really need a master plan. We can't just plan it out there because once we start building or bringing in other buildings, we might have to move those. So that's money that's not well spent. So we pause that until we can go further with that. So that's going to relieve about another $1.2 million. So when you add up all those two savings that we have a pocket of $4.1 million with that. And so my job now is to let you know what we plan to do with that $4.1 million as far as leveraging some of our needs that we have for the district. So we have identified $3.8 million on HVAC needs. And these are units that are end of life. That means that they have anywhere from 20 to 25 years of life. We've already had them 20 or 25 years, or maybe even a little bit longer than that. So now they're still working, but they were already in line to be replaced with the next bond. Fortunately, we don't have that, and so we have to take care of those needs, and we have to have a plan for that. So we've put some numbers together, and we have a little bit over 200 units that need replacing right now throughout the district. Now, we've replaced a lot of them with the 2019 original bond, but remember, this was interest money that we could go a little bit further and beyond. So because of that, we still need $3.8 million of HVAC needs. And then our next need is going to be on the technology side. We have devices, both staff and student, but more on the student side, that are really critical. We have to have devices that can be hooked up to our network, that are standard, and they can be updated to the newest operating system and so forth. And so we've identified $2.5 million worth of technology needs that we have for the student side. Also with the teachers, a little bit over $750,000 worth of devices that we need for both. Putting it together, we have needs of $3.2 million for devices that we need. So next slide that we have is really, I'm trying to bring everything together. If if you do the math, there, if we need $3.8 million worth of HVAC and we need $3.2 million worth of technology, well, I need $7 million. I don't have $7 million. I have $4.1 million. And so going back, we've talked to, or David has talked to some of the vendors that we have out here. And I'll start with technology and then move to HVAC and then bring in insurance here. But talking with technology, we've called a couple of our vendors and asked them if they had leasing options or purchasing options that are out there. We were able to find one that was purchasing, and we found one that has no interest at all because we've been working with our vendors. So with that said, we could split it up into 4 payments. So $3.2 million, $800,000 a year. That means that I would need to bring $800,000 from our current 4.1 bond allocation that we have right now, and I could pay for the first year for that. But now all of our teachers have devices, all of our students have devices with that. As far as the HVACs go, the HVACs, we're gonna let them run until they die. That's really our choice that we have right now. I don't anticipate a lot of money that we'll need, but what if we do need that? Well, we have it in our pocket of money there. And so I'll let Armando talk a little bit about that here in a little bit, if y'all have questions for that. But we might anticipate maybe 800,000, 1.2 million is probably what we're looking at for this coming year with that. So that 800,000, and then plus that 1 million, so that gives about 1.8 million that we might use up. So that's still under the 4.1. The difference between that 1.8 and 4.1 million that we have on there, we're going to use that as leverage for some of our premiums, insurance premiums that we have. As you know, that we have a lot of portables throughout the district, and we have some facilities right now that we're using for storage. And so Mr. Santiago is working with our insurance company as well to see the square footage. We have about 2.8 million square feet. Is that correct, Armando? 2.6 million square feet of space throughout the district. So if we can reduce some of our square footage, that means our premiums would be lower. As you know, our deductible's way up there. So even if a portable was to get hit with hail, the deductible's not gonna cover that at all. And so why insurance, some of our portables that we have throughout the district. And so now, if we are using, and these are usually, what we're planning right now is the facilities that we're planning to leverage or lower our insurance premium is where children are not there right now. Our students are not utilizing that. But if something was to happen, like if a tornado came in and blew the roof off of something, one of the buildings that we were taking or we're pausing on our insurance premium, we still have money in here to come back and put that roof if we needed to, and if we wanted to, right?
Mr. Mendez, if I could, just to bring it back to instruction. So this is INS money that we're talking about that cannot be used on instruction, but we can use it to insure some of our properties, which frees up money from the maintenance and operations side, which can be used for compensation and for staffing, which is another way of saying if we have bond money, we can free up money for maintenance and operation in the future. Questions?
I do have a quick question about the technology. Is this going to give all new devices to every single staff and student in the district?
So we already have, greetings Team 8, we already have a few campuses that have already been renewed. So these are the devices that, for the campuses that we know are.
Happen.
The ones with the red?
Absolutely. They're the ones that we have already identified that these guys are crucial. They were end of life in the cell last year. So we got to get these off the network by July. Okay. So you will be seeing me probably next month with a proposal to move forward and get these, because the sooner I can get these ordered, the sooner I can get these turned around.
But it wouldn't be every single device. That way,
no, ma'am. We're going to roll this out in phases so that we're not going to have 4 years from now everything's crashing. And
that's what I would, yeah.
Buy everything all over again.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
We'll do it in phases. Is that the only question? Technology?
So that's all we have as far as presenting our plan, right? Leveraging some bond 2019 funds that are available.
Thank you.
Thank
think
you.
we have any questions. Thank you so much. Yeah. Great presentation. Okay. TASB salary study, equity adjustment.
This just requires our notification unless trustees have any questions. I think you've seen this already.
No questions. Thank you. Then we go to the 2026, 10.5, 2026 through 2031 strategic planning process. Dr. Tammy Williams-Hill.
Good evening, Team of 8.
Good evening.
So that should say 2027 to 2032. The current plan goes through 2026. So a couple of years ago, I was really excited. I stepped into this room, and there were secondary students all over the room just chatting amongst themselves. And so we did a little activity to get to know each other a little bit better. And so as we dove into the meeting, my first question to them was, how is school currently working for you? And so they talked with their partners, they jotted down what was currently working, and so we shared whole group. Like, it's great our teachers have a reward system for us. It's great when our teachers ask us how we're doing. It's nice that we feel like our teachers care about us. So the next question was, what needs help in your schools? What needs improvement? And so they gave me some things that needed some help, and some of those things we've addressed here. And before we closed out the meeting, my third question was, what would you like Manor ISD to be? And the room became silent. I said, well, what do you mean, miss? I said, what would you like for Manor ISD to be? They said, well, no one has ever asked us that before. So trustees, what would you like for Manor ISD to be?
East Lake,
East Lake.
they have Westlake, they have excellent academics, athletics, reputation nationally. They have their lake over there. We have our lake over here, and I want the same reputation for Manor ISD as Eames has.
All right.
I would like for us to be a passing district.
Okay. What else would you like for Manor ISD to be?
I would like for us to be a district that is known for utilizing our diversity culturally, linguistically as a strength that is seen as a reason why we succeed.
I love that, yeah.
What else?
Part of, go ahead. Part of our, like, our vision and mission, like, we did that to be the best district in Texas, really. I mean, that's part of, and adding to the rest of my trustees, you know, I'm just going back to our vision and mission.
Yeah, and so you heard, go ahead.
I was going to say, being leaders in our community with our CCMR, right, crushing it in the ability to earn a living wage for themselves and to be able to provide for their families.
All right.
And really build those leaders. Like, when I'm old, it's way out there, but I just saw, being at the hospital a lot, taking care of both my parents and everything, just seeing all these young kids saving, you know, my mom's life, or my, you know, just really building that young generation where I will feel comfortable, you know, that I'm going to be in good hands. It's up to us. It's our, I used to say it's our responsibility, but now it's an obligation that we have to make sure we provide that to our future leaders, our young.
Anyone else?
Well, I think that the purpose is to graduate students that are prepared for the next stage of their life, and I would like our district to be the place where everybody reaches that goal.
I would also like for Manor ISD to be a place where people are fighting to come work here.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to be in Manor. I want to.
I also want the teachers to be the highest paid.
Yeah, I would like to become home of the $100,000 teacher as well.
I know.
Okay.
All right. So what you have described, you heard a little bit of it tonight. You heard a little bit from OSS's financial report and tracking and getting things together. You heard a little bit from Mr. Mendez and his team regarding operations and freeing up some funds for us to focus on instruction to meet the goal that you all set in the last strategic plan, right? By 2028, 90% of our Manor ISD scholars will graduate, be prepared for college, career, trade, military, career readiness based upon their individual needs. And when you all talked about that, every single one of you smiled because you imagined the district and where you wanted it to be. And so tonight you heard some of those steps that will be taken. And so in preparation for that, we continue the work that's in our current strategic plan. But as we look into the next 5 years of becoming Eastlake, of graduating students who are ready, or teachers clamoring to come to Manor ISD because we're implementing TIA and can pay them $100,000 a year, and have kids who want to stay in Manor and grow up in Manor to take care of us when we get older, right? So we can start that work. We can continue that work now, and in the next 5 years, we have the unique opportunity to shape what that looks like. And so when we engage in this next phase of strategic planning for the next 5 years, we're going to start with students and what they envision Manor ISD to be. And so tonight, we just want to share with you, we have started that process, and when we come back in January, you all will have some time to spend together to come up with what that dream you want to be, and we will engage community and students. They will be at the forefront, because to me, I have a saying, nothing without us, nothing about us without us, and so we do need that student perspective as we draft what the next 5 years will look like, because once we finish with this process, they will be able to answer that question. So what questions can I answer for you about the strategic planning process?
I'm just looking forward to starting it, to seeing the evolving, how it all comes about and the outcome. Thank you.
If possible, I would like community folks who have school-aged children who, for whatever reason, choose not to bring their children to this district. I would like them to be part of this planning process as well, so we could figure out what we can do to bring those kids back.
If you notice in some of our surveys that we've been sending out for the past couple of years, we've been collecting data. Do you have children in Manor ISD? Who are you, right? So that we can start being very intentional in who we attract and reach out to become part of our conversations and part of our action plan.
I think also making sure we also, there's a lot of families or even people here that just don't have kids, and I want to hear from them too, to know the importance of what we have, our community has to offer, and the importance of supporting public education. So I think that it's also important to hear from them as well and know that they're being heard.
Agreed, because it is a community, and schools thrive on communities when we all participate and have a voice in it, because what we do within the four walls of the school district impacts everyone. And so we do want to hear those voices as well.
What do you envision the process will be for conducting the needs assessment to identify those strengths and areas of need?
Right, we ask those questions, right? So we do have a variety of people to give their perspectives. We have small groups, we have larger groups, and we take that information and we also look at the data that we have collected over the years, right? Because we know we have actual data that has numbers, our quantitative data, and then we also have our qualitative data, which is about the perceptions of it. So how we do that is we work in small groups, we work with the different stakeholders, those who want to be involved in the community, those who may not quite be sure because they still have a perspective to offer. And so we collect that information in a needs assessment to identify what is working well, what areas need improvement, and even the question, how can you contribute to that improvement of Manor ISD? So we'll be coming back with you in the spring, early spring, with a more concrete plan that outlines the steps.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
If there's no objection from the board members here while Mr. Martinez is out on a break, can we move on to consent agenda?
Yeah.
Is there any objection to that? No. Okay. Go ahead, Trustee Thomas. Yeah, do I have a motion?
President Cortez.
Yes, Trustee.
I move
Thomas.
that the board approve the consent agenda items 11.1 through 11.7 as presented.
I have a motion by Trustee Dr. Thomas to approve consent agenda item 11.1 through 11.7. Do I have a second? I have a second by Trustee Patterson. If there's no discussion, all those in favor? We're doing consent. Okay, 7-0 and 7:30. All right, now we're going to go back to information item 10.6. GKD local facilities, Dr. Sarmani.
Yes, Madam President and Team of 8, bring forward to you the GKD local policy facilities. And your packet, you would have had 3 pieces of paper. You have the two alternate policies plus a side-by-side. I've put the side-by-side. It is very, very small up there, I know. But I try to put some of the information up there so that people in TV land, if they review this or download off Board Book, they can see it as well. My staff is here with their pens and papers to hear your thoughts on our local policy, if anyone has some thoughts they would like to offer.
Dr. Sormani, could you give us a summary of what the policy is for those in TV land?
Absolutely. Right after I drink water.
I know, me too.
I get choked up about facility policies. So GKD policy is the facility that governs how we use our facilities. As boards, of course, control their local policy, and it is based on legal policy. There's a couple of things going on here. One, there has been legislation that has changed the local policy, and on the recommendation of our council, we have a number of changes that we will be doing. There's also some ideas about how to rent our facilities, and what you have is, on the very top line there, is the major difference between 2 potential policy initiatives. One allows for, I would say, a looser opportunity for people to rent our facilities at a lower cost, while an alternative policy would tighten it up a little differently. And what you see down there is what the regulations would be based on those 2 different policies, and that's really where your major difference is. Regulations are written in our GKD facilities manual, and currently we have 3 different levels of groups that can rent at different rates, and then you see that the other policy would only have 2 of those groups. And there's your major difference between the 2.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shamani.
And so you've been superintendent for 2.5 years?
Yes, sir.
Has the current policy been an issue with our facilities? Have things been going smoothly or not? Is it taxing to staff or not? I mean, I just want to say I want our superintendent to have as much discretion in running the district as possible. And I'm not interested in taking choices away like that. So I want to know, has there been an issue to the point where we actually need to go through a change?
I don't know that there's been issues that indicate that we need to go ahead and change the policy. We've had our issues, there's no doubt about that, and I've expressed that to trustees when we had issues with our policy, but I believe we have the tools necessary to address those. I think this is a question whether board members feel like that there's a better way to approach that or not.
I would now, since Trustee Patterson asked that, I'm always love to be proactive in reviewing our policies and keeping them up to date. But now that once Trustee Patterson asked that and your answer to that, then my question is, we hired you to help make sure that you and staff, follow whatever policies that we have, and make sure that it also it's something that works for you and staff, and something that you would recommend that is workable to follow. So, and also not limit certain entities, make it, where we're open, but to whoever needs to use our facilities, but as long as they abide by the policy and it's fair, it doesn't restrict too much on a lot of the nonprofits and whatever that looks like, even if it's for profits. But whatever you recommend and whatever is doable by staff, I support.
Madam President, if I could, so something that I would like to see, just to interject, is that I think that we need something that is consistent. Some of the issues that you've discussed with us that we've had in the past were inconsistencies in how these facilities and the usages of them took place. So I think that it's important to have something that is consistent. Also, something that takes into consideration the vision and mission statement of our school district. The reason that taxpayers put their trust in us and we ask them for money is to take care of our facilities for their children so that we could educate them, and to take care of our employees, respect them, and hopefully reward them in the matter of compensation. So I would love to see something that works in a way that sticks to that. So in our mission statement, I understand that that's something that the community wants to do at times, but that's also not really what our focus is and shouldn't be. I think that our focus should be on our students. It should be on our personnel, and any of these other things that distract should not be a distraction. There should be a very consistent, centralized, and in a manner that is effective, that doesn't have to be revisited again and again. So I would like to see that when we come to the point of voting for this. So yeah, and obviously we have to take into account, we've just heard a long discussion of the issues and some of the things that we've had to accommodate for lack of funds that have to do with facility maintenance and usage and upkeep. And I think that given the state of our and the goals that we're trying to do with the funds, I think that we should also have something that helps us towards that goal, which is important. I think if we're going to be renting the facilities, then obviously it needs to be in line with reaching that goal. It shouldn't. We have to take those things into account.
Okay. Do I have any other trustees that would like to
Yeah,
comment?
I would. Just as it was brought up earlier with the finance process and policies and things like that, I think it's really just important. One of the challenges sometimes we have is just a change in personnel, making sure that everybody in the district is aware of what those processes are to use our facilities. I think it's also important that we recognize as trustees that we are not the end-all and be-all of this community. We have people that we answer to, and that's the community. That's the constituents that elect us to our position. And more importantly, these are their facilities and the students in which they represent. I do agree that the move that the administration has brought as far as the changes, they've been highlighted, and I think that they're aligned with ensuring that our families are able to be supported through community organizations that serve our children. And I think that it's important that we continue to make these facilities available to the public that aligns with, yes, our vision and mission, but also with what the community wants and what they pay for with their tax dollars.
And just to finish, does anybody else like to?
Yeah, I just want to make sure what I've heard earlier from the superintendent. The current policy allows for more discretion on your part. And the new proposed policy would take some of that discretion away and would ultimately hurt potentially sensitive issues that come up that you would know about, that the public wouldn't know about. Is that what I heard earlier?
I'm not sure I'd quite put it quite like that, but I would say that one policy, I think you will have less people renting our facilities, and you will probably have less people slipping in who shouldn't be renting our facilities at a lower rate. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, the status quo would have less people will slip in, and they do, and we have to address it. On the other side, the other policy, I think you'll have less community members being able to access our facilities.
And that's
I think that-
taxpayers, community members, or
That's the crux of what I see
constituents.
in this policy.
Have we ever had in the past an issue with anybody being able to access?
I think there's always been issues.
I don't know that, and I struggle to answer that question in that, when we say an issue, anybody who comes to me and says they can't afford the facilities, it's an issue for them. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's an issue for us, because I think we all agree we need to rent our facility at a price that's good for our taxpayers. Right.
We're not required to either, right?
No, we're not required to, not by any means, but we should at least recoup our costs for sure.
Absolutely. And I also, in that respect, I think that when we do go out and ask taxpayers to pay for funds, then maybe they should be told or at least informed that it's possible that their tax dollars would also go to subsidize in some way these issues.
Okay, so,
I have, may I speak?
yes, oh, hold on. It's because we're going through policy now.
Oh, please feel free.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the one thing that I hope we'll take into consideration in regards to this policy specifically is the community in which we serve, the facilities that are currently available to profit or nonprofit organizations to be able to put together things that support our students and our families. I know that Manor is growing quite a bit, and I know that there are many awesome plans to grow the city's facilities with that, but until those come to fruition, I just think it's very important to keep equity at center of mind and heart when we consider making a policy that either makes for more inclusivity of community involvement or more exclusivity of community involvement.
Thank you so much for your input. I really think this is a good discussion too. And I would like to end by saying, I guess we have to have some kind of balance, Because at the same time, you know, the city doesn't have the facilities that we do. This is our community. We can't close out, you know, our taxpayer too. But at the same time, you know, the caveat to the taxing and the revenue, I'm thinking at the same time, we're going back to budgets. This is also areas that we can gain revenue too, because we're trying to find different avenues of revenue because of the situation that we're in. Why not better than opening it up now, you know, finding that good balance, but making sure that our community really takes advantage of it, and it's a win-win situation for both.
Sure. One last thing. So, I mean, in that respect, I do agree that the communities, we are representatives of what they want, but have we taken steps to figure out what it is that the community wants? So when we're raising the question, what studies have you done, or what questions have you asked to figure out what it is the community wants us to do?
I was going to say, strategic planning is going to be
Yeah,
starting
that's part of
soon,
the
so
strategic planning and everything.
those
And this is policy, and just to remind everyone, we do policy workshops periodically when there is a big amount of policies that we have to work on. And this is just one of those policies that we will be discussing more. And overall, we normally do the policy in our workshops, and this is great discussion. The other part will be definitely handled in the strategic planning. And so this is something that we'll probably vote on in January.
Yeah.
So I think if there's, I know we've already kind of finished our 2 minutes each, except Dr. Thomas, and if anybody else would like to chime in on their last 2 minutes. Okay, she's ready. Okay. All right, Dr. Sarmani, anything else? Okay, she's moving to adjourn. Okay. But before we do that, okay.
That's me.
She wants to adjourn, Dr. Thomas, at 7:46 PM. But before we adjourn, we're going to go to the confirmation of our next board meeting, which is January 26th of 2025. So until next year, Happy New Year, happy holidays. Thank you so much, everyone. Unplug, unwind, and come back re-energized. Thank you. First motion by Trustee Thomas.
I second that.
Second by Trustee Powers. All in favor? Aye. 7:46 PM. Till next year.
Dr. Sormani, you may want to note that that's